Mm. Timer's on. Slurpee, good stuff. But don't drink them every day. It's a special treat. Maybe you're thinking that when you're bigger and you're out of the house and you're on your own, you can have Slurpees whenever you want. Well, yeah, you can. But it might not be a good idea. In fact, if you have too many Slurpees, you can make yourself sick. Or if you have Slurpees every day and you don't brush your teeth, you're going to lose your teeth that way pretty quickly. Or just get other things that you don't want, like something called diabetes that comes from having too much sugar. All sorts of things can go on if you don't pay attention and do some basic things that just make sense. Get enough sleep, eat right, wash your ears. You don't want to grow potatoes in there. All sorts of things that you might say now, well, when I'm out of the house, I don't have to do that anymore. That's right, you don't have to. But if you don't, you might have problems. And that's sort of what happened with the second son in the story we started yesterday. Once he left the house and began his travels, well, things began to change a little bit. He set off to see the world. Remember this picture? He's setting off there to see the world. He thought about the wonderful things he could buy with the money that his father had given him. And the younger son began his new life. He lived like a king, and he spent money freely. He bought only the best clothes and ate only the finest food. Probably no Slurpees. But as he did that, it didn't take long before all of his money was spent and was all gone. And then he began to have a lot of problems. He had to sell his expensive clothing. And soon he didn't have anything left to sell. The people that he had been hanging out with, the friends that had been there when he could buy things for them, they were only there for the things and not for him. They really weren't friends. And they disappeared too. Soon he didn't have enough money to buy a single piece of bread. He began to get hungry. And there he was with no money, no friends, nothing to eat, no place to live. He was far away from his family and he felt all alone. And there was nobody there that he knew to help him. He tried to find a job, which would make sense. Probably should have tried that long before then. But he couldn't find one because he'd spent all his time playing and he didn't know enough that he could get a good job. And he never learned how to do anything. Well, he did know a couple things from when he was growing up on the farm. And so he knew how to feed animals. But the only job he could get was feeding the pigs. There he is, sitting in the mud with the pigs. Oink, oink, oink. And because he wasn't making enough money to keep himself fed, here's the secret. He was eating the food that he was feeding to the pigs. He was desperate. I mean, he was in bad shape. Well, while he was sitting there, he started thinking back. He was watching the pigs eat, and he thought, even the people who work for my father, taking care of his animals, they have enough to eat. And he had never gone hungry at home. Nobody had gone hungry at home. Not just the family, but not the people around them either. And when he was there, the people who worked for his father had a warm, dry place where they could live. And they could lay down at night and they could sleep. And when he thought about all those things, he got homesick. And I don't mean just a little homesick. I mean a lot homesick. Not just missing home. But he began to feel really sorry. And I mean, sorry for the way he had left. Kind of felt that he had been taking advantage of his father and his father's good feelings toward him, and he felt bad about that. But he also thought, that's kind of where I belong. And sitting there in the mud with the pigs around him, he began to think, this isn't going to be easy, but I think I better go home and tell them I'm sorry. That was a hard decision. But you know what? The only thing that would make him think that he even could do that would be the thought that, you know what? His father loved him. And that wasn't going to change just because of him going away. And it wasn't going to change because of the stuff he had done. And it was worth a try. I think he realized in a way that he loved his father too. We'll pick up the story tomorrow night, right there. As you're going to sleep tonight, I hope you realize and remember how much your family loves you and how much God loves you. And you've got a warm, dry place to sleep and enough to eat. And probably a nice bowl of cereal tomorrow morning waiting for you. So sleep well, and we'll pick this up tomorrow. Good night.